Hey everybody, Brad C. here, co-founder and CEO of Kentuckiana Mortgage Group, and I just want to welcome you to part three of our three-part series, Survive, Revive, and Thrive. Today we have Mike Schoonover, who is the owner and lead agent with 812 Living Group at Keller Williams. Mike, now that we're on part three, you helped kind of put this series together. Kind of give us your take so far.
Yeah, thanks, Brad, and thanks for being willing to come back and interview me. Kind of tables turned here. Look, COVID-19 crisis. The world is a little bit crazy right now. We've got lockdowns and quarantines, and people are afraid, and some people are afraid, some people are not afraid. So things are crazy, a little wild right now. Thought about this series because conversations that you and I had about finances and what it's going to look for people right now. And so just first out of the gate, say thank you to you for being willing to come in, share your financial knowledge with us. I've already had feedback from people who have taken some of the tips and strategies that you passed on in part one, and now they're seeing fruit from that. They're applying those things, and it's been helpful. Shout out to Dr. Hoffman, Steve Hoffman, who came in, did part two with us to talk about the health and physical, mental, and emotional health. Look, without part one and two, unless you get yourself financially sound and then physically, mentally, and emotionally sound, it's going to be hard to do part three, which we'll talk about today. So just thankful to you guys, and I've been excited about the feedback that we've gotten so far.
Yeah, that's great, Mike. And the thing with the revive is, it's a lot of things that I had heard before or read, but it's great to hear it again. Something to help you remember those things and things that you can do. Yeah, great. It's been great so far.
Yeah.
So jumping into part three here now, we're on thriving. What's that look like for you?
Well, let me be clear up front what thriving is not in this moment. Okay, we're not talking about looking for opportunities to take advantage of someone else's suffering. That's not what we're talking about here. Okay, what we're talking about is investing in yourself. It's the greatest investment that you can possibly make with the potential for the greatest return, right? You teach yourself a new skill, you learn something new, that stays with you forever. And there's value in doing that. So what we're talking about is, there's things that I had in my life before with scheduling and chaos with kids that we don't have right now. When we go back to normal, I want to do a better job of managing that. So we're putting things in place right now where we're going to look better on the other side with our family setup, our family dynamic and relationships. So we're talking about those kinds of things where if you take the opportunity now to hit the reset button, you can thrive in this time and come out better on the other side.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And, to that, it's easy to get in a rut when you have so much time on your hand. I find myself becoming less motivated because I know how I have so much time to accomplish it.
Yeah.
So that's a challenge. Yeah.
And we're gonna hopefully talk a little bit about how to overcome that at some point.
Good. So you talked about education. What are you specifically talking about, and what does that look like right now with everybody kind of at home?
Yeah. So here's what I'm finding with myself, with other people that I'm talking to, people who are employed, business owners, stay-at-home folks. There's because we don't have all these places to run to, we have more time. Okay, and we'll probably focus on career things today, but there's two kind of categories I put in here with education. There are so many resources available right now for free or for discount where people can learn new skills or improve on ones that they have now. So let me tell you about the two categories. There are people who are in their current role that love what they do, and now is a perfect time to invest in the skills that would help you be better at your current role once things again go back to normal. So you can get better at what you're doing. You can position yourself for a potential promotion, but take advantage of the time to get better at whatever your current role is. The other opportunity, and I think this is a huge one, is for people who don't necessarily like the role that they're in now, or they want to open a business. I've talked to a lot of people who saying, look, I don't ever again want to be reliant upon an employer to tell me when I can and can't work, or if I have to shut down or not shut down, or, limit my opportunity. So folks are taking the opportunity to put themselves in a position to start a side hustle that you talked about, or to start a new business. So at some point they can go out on their own. And again, there's a lot of incredible opportunities to learn and develop those new skills.
Yeah, for sure. Great info on what people can do right now. You shared with me you kind of had a 6-point process, and I kind of want to go through those, and I'd like you to elaborate a little bit on each one of them if you would.
Yeah, sure.
Number one, pick an area for improvement.
Yeah, so you got to start somewhere. We live in an era of shiny objects where I want to learn about cooking, and then I want to learn about photography, and Facebook and other social media outlets are constantly targeting our wants and desires and flashing stuff in front of us, right? So we're constantly chasing something. My encouragement is pick one, at most maybe two areas that you want to focus on. And when I'm talking to folks that I coach, we're looking at finances and health, which are things we covered in part 1 and 2, family, general relationships with others, work, hobbies, and faith. So those are several categories that you can look in and say, hey, which one of these, or maybe two of these, do I want to grow in and get better in, develop in, and spend time focusing on during this time?
Yeah. So the next one is look for experts.
Yeah, so I don't want to come off as the grumpy old man here, but I tell my kids all the time they have such an incredible opportunity to learn from experts that I didn't have growing up. You have people who have failed, wasted all the money, been through the trial and error. They've exceeded at a massively high level, and then they wrote it all down and they'll sell it to you for $15.99. You can have it in 2 days, free shipping from Amazon, right? Like, we have access to some of the most brilliant, successful minds that my generation didn't have. So you take that and you say, let's look for an expert. Okay, you've decided on what one or two areas you want to thrive in this time. Now go looking for the experts. Okay, and I'm not just let's say get a book, find a podcast. There's hundreds of them on any of the topics that we just talked about. Find a mentor and find an online course. You want a combination of those. If you tap into those 4 resources, you are really going to be fast tracking yourself on whatever skill it is, because I'm telling you, experts are coming out with these podcasts. They're doing one a day. They're interviewing the most brilliant minds in the country. And those minds are saying, here's A, B, and C of exactly how I did it and the things to avoid, that you can be a success on your own faster and cheaper than they ever did it.
One thing that I discovered, and maybe everybody else knew about this, but the fact that on Amazon Kindle, and then you link to like Audible, and you can read on Kindle, but you can also switch to audio and listen to the book and it maintains where you are. So you can switch from reading to listening depending on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool. And I didn't know that. So as far as consuming the content.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, we have so many options. We have the Audible. I'm glad you brought that up. So we've got online courses, places like Skillshare, Coursera, edX. These are online learning platforms where it's not just English and poetry, and it's how to start a podcast. It's how to build a website, how to become a web designer, all of these skills that they're willing to teach you. And those online courses right now, they have either free or deeply discounted opportunities where before you would have to pay for them. Ivy League schools, Harvard, Yale, and then some of the other big public institutions across the country are offering their online classes, some of them for free. You can go out and see what they have to offer. You can sign up and you can take those courses for free. Rosetta Stone, you want to learn a foreign language, they're offering, I think, a couple of month free subscription where you can go on. World, the museums all across the world that you've always wanted to visit, it is there for the taking. You just have to go get it. And I have a link that I'll include with the show notes that links to a website that talks about all of these resources and people that are offering these free and discounted courses.
That'd be great. I actually hadn't seen that, so I would like to get access to that for myself. Well, thank you. Number 3, develop a schedule. And this is something that I had to force myself to do.
Yeah, look, I mean, many of us have this freed up time now, right? Where we would have been running to soccer or to client events and things like that, where we just can't because we have quarantine and the social distancing policies. You would think that it would be natural for us to fill up those times with productive things, but with Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime, those things are calling for us attention. And again, we're gonna steer towards that direction naturally unless we do something to counteract it. So what I talk to my clients that I coach with, I say, look, you have to schedule it. We call it time blocking. Before you get to the week, you're going to block out the time for the course, the book, the course, the mentor time, whatever it is that you've decided on. You've got to plug that into your calendar. I'm a huge fan of Google Calendar. I can control it from my phone, from my laptop. You plug it in there, you set up reminders, and you make sure nothing else goes in that time. Nothing interrupts that time. I'm telling people, you got to think of this like you're back in school or you're back in college. You have to block that time in, or else Netflix is going to steal it from you, and you're going to end up watching Tigers, Tiger King, and all that stuff. So, time blocking, scheduling as if you are in school, in college, will make a world of difference.
Great. I love that. I think for me, I needed to have an accountability partner. So I made my wife my accountability partner as far as my time blocking and scheduling goes. So that was a huge help.
Yeah, mentor. If you have a mentor or just an accountability person, a lot of people are putting this public on, a social media. Hey guys, just want to let you know I'm starting this course on photography. It's 8 weeks long. Would you have the ability to reach out to me and tag me if I don't, post an update here. So yeah, that's absolutely would be a great way to help keep you on track.
Yep. Step 4 is take action.
Yeah, so taking action. Look, we can consume all this material, right? Podcasts and books and online courses and articles. If we don't do anything with it, we the chance that we have of retaining it or actually putting it to use once we get back to work, it starts to dwindle. So I'll give you a perfect example. I have clients who have been talking to me for years about wanting to get into real estate investing. They want to become landlords or they want to flip or get into Airbnb. So, been talking to them that this is a perfect time to start developing the skills and knowledge that you need to become a real estate investor. When the opportunity strikes, you don't have time to go listen to 10 hours of podcast to try and figure out how to make an offer and what things you should look for that might need repairs and all that. So you're learning this stuff, and I tell them, go ahead and let's use the information that you're learning to start looking virtually for properties that you might want to invest in. Let's take that a step further and let's go drive by the property. If the house is vacant, we can probably get your permission to walk around the outside and peek in the windows. Might even be able to get you inside of the house. But now you're taking the stuff that you're learning, you're going to put it into action, And when you're taking action, you're realizing, oh, you know what? I didn't think about this. I need to go find answers to this, and I need to go find what the cost is of this. And it really accelerates your learning. If you don't take action, you just ingest it and it sits there, you're going to lose a good percentage of that. If you go and put it into action, it's going to be helpful to retain it, and it will help you think of other things that you need to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that I've tried to focus on as well in this is putting what I'm learning and using it constantly.
Yeah.
Like you said, you lose it if not. The next one is one of my favorites and something that I don't do very well and need to be better at, and it's seek feedback.
Yeah, seeking feedback. Look, we talked about getting a mentor, an accountability partner. We can learn, we can take action, but if we don't have someone telling us how we can do better, how we can tweak, then we're potentially learning uh, mistakes. We're learning the wrong way to do things, and we look at golfers, right? They spend their formidable years learning all these wrong ways to swing, and somehow they make it work, and then they get a coach who says, hey, look, you've built some bad habits in here. You're dropping your elbow at the top, or whatever it is. So now the coach has to go in and break down the swing from and rebuild it from scratch. Okay. What you can do is, if you have a coach, if you seek feedback, someone can help you along the way. Say, hey, I saw that you did this. I saw that you were looking at this kind of property to buy. Let me tell you the risks and the challenges that come along with that. You might want to tweak it and start looking at this kind of property over here. So, a good coach, a good mentor. Here's another thing. If you are looking at providing a service, let's say computer repair or website design, give those, give your service away for free a few times. Give it away to a handful of people with the condition that they have to give you honest feedback. So they have permission to say, "Hey Brad, we liked what you did over here, but this thing that you added over here is garbage. And if you do that with future clients, you're going to lose business." So now you had someone that you gave it to. It was low risk. Hopefully, someone that's a friend or that you respect. They're going to give you honest feedback. They're going to save you a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of headache, and potentially save your business from making mistakes. So it's you have to get feedback, or else number six doesn't come into play.
Yeah. That's a great point of I love that idea of doing it for some friends, family, or something for free, and then asking for all you ask in return is honest feedback. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Love that.
And I have a client that makes bread, homemade bread, and I would welcome any opportunity to give feedback on the free bread. She does a fantastic job, but that's a thing where you can say, hey, look, I want to start this bread baking business or cake decorating or whatever kind of baking. Give some of those away. And here's what I've told people: people don't like to hurt your feelings. So in feedback situations, they're more than likely going to go easy on you. So I've encouraged some of my clients to go ahead and write up a feedback form. What do you want to know? Now, certainly leave space for they can say whatever they want, but give them every opportunity to give you constructive criticism, and let them know without a doubt it will not hurt your feelings. You got to have the honest feedback.
I haven't looked for this, but I'm sure there's maybe like a free survey, like anonymous survey you could have somebody fill out. That way, they're not putting their name on it. You may get a little bit more honest feedback on that.
Yeah, so that's definitely a possibility. If you don't think there's any way you're going to get honest feedback, you can set up that anonymous survey. The reason why I tell my clients not to do that is because you want to be able to go back and answer or ask follow-up questions. So if they said, "Hey,
Point.
really didn't like the sourdough, really didn't like the banana bread," if that's all they give you and it's anonymous, well, now I can't go back and ask the follow-up question as to why. Was it the taste? Was it the texture? Was it undercooked, overcooked? So if you can let people know up front, you're not going to hurt my feelings. In fact, you're going to help me That's the key. You're going to help me. They'll want to give you that honest feedback and give you the opportunity to ask follow-up questions.
Good point. Very good point. The last one here is continuous improvement.
Continuous improvement. Look, it's just, it completes the cycle, right? So we've picked an area for improvement. We've got experts that are going to help push us to the next level. We're developing a schedule of study and learning. We are taking action to cement those skills and abilities and to drive us forward. We're seeking feedback. If we stop there, we're limiting our growth. Okay, so it's continuous improvement. We go back to the beginning. Okay, I got this feedback. How do I improve upon this? Go back to your experts. Find the experts. Say, hey, I tried this. It didn't work. I got this feedback. How can I make this better? And then you just start the loop over. The greatest successes are those who never stop. In fact, we've got the Last Dance, right? Michael Jordan documentary going right now. This guy is the guy who never he was the best. Well, I know I'm gonna make some people upset here, but he's the best basketball player on the planet in his generation, right? He never stopped learning. He took it through that entire cycle. So take the feedback you get, go back to your experts, find the answers, develop the schedule to learn it, what's needed, take action, give it away again, get more feedback, and just cycle it over and over again.
Yeah, the basketball rim gives you true, honest feedback.
Yeah, no doubt. And then the players that you played with all these decades later getting on camera and saying, "Man, I hated that guy."
Yeah, exactly. You don't get to the top without making a few people upset, right?
Yeah, sure.
So we're wrapping up this Survive, Thrive, and Revive. Thank you for taking the time, and thank you again for putting this together for all of us. I'm sure that tons of people have found value in this. So I just wanted to get some closing thoughts from you as we kind of wrap this thing up.
Yeah, again, thanks, Brad, for you being a part of this. Look, I just, again, I step back, I look at what's going on around me. I look at when some of my clients are going through. I do have some coaching clients say, hey, what are they going through? In the chaos, our natural tendency is just to lock up and fetal position and in bed. I want people to know that's not the only option. We don't have to just walk through this thing, lay down through this thing and go away, right? And it all starts with getting your bearings, solidifying your finances, making sure that your family's going to have food to eat, and that's whether that's shoring up your budget or getting the stimulus, the help that's out there from government resources. That's number one. That's going to put you in a spot where you can think about your mental, physical, emotional health. Dr. Hoffman did a great job in part 2 covering that and just how easy it can be to get there. And then for me, it's what are the opportunities in this time? There's always opportunities. You hear it all the time in public relations. Never waste a good crisis. And again, we don't want to downplay the suffering that some people are going through. You have the opportunity to control your destiny in this. I firmly believe it. And that comes through investing in yourself, your relationship, your career in this time. And you can come out on the other side of this better off, I think.
Mike, thanks again for putting all this together. Any final thoughts as we wrap this up?
Yeah, I just we're gonna, again, all 3 of these videos are going to be available on my Facebook page, 812 Living Group. We'll also have them available on a YouTube channel so people can go back and look at those. We'll put the links to all of the resources that we've provided in there. And we'd love to hear your feedback. We talk about feedback. If you want to share this or give us some feedback, certainly if there are any topics you think that we didn't cover, we'd be happy to hear that. Find us on Facebook, 812 Living Group. Brad C., founder and CEO of Kentuckiana Mortgage Group. You and your team, as always, do a fantastic job. And thanks for being a partner on this as we've walked through it.
Thank you again, Mike.